Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Shandia Gardner, and I would like to welcome all of you aspiring counselors to Communications 101. Okay, in front of you, you will find a copy of the lessons handout. Feel free to take notes, to jot down anything that stands out to you, okay? So before we get started with the lesson, I would like for us to introduce ourselves, okay? So we're going to introduce ourselves, give our name, and we're going to state briefly why it is that we have decided to pursue counseling, or why you feel the need to become a better communicator. Okay, whoever wants to go first, it's fine.
I can start.
Sure.
Okay, so my name is Tanaja Knowles, and I decided to pursue counseling because I believe that this career path will allow me the opportunity to actively participate and, give encouragement to those with challenges. And communication definitely plays a pivotal role in that.
Yes, thank you. I'll go next. Sure. My name is Natasha Frank, and I've decided to pursue counseling because I want to make a greater impact on the lives in a more powerful way.
Hi, my name is Paul Robertson, and I decided to pursue counseling because I really love advocating and equipping others with the tools they need to help themselves.
Such hard acts to follow. Like, my name is Katrina, and I simply love seeing lives transform for the better.
Good. Thank you all so much. I'm so happy you all feel that way, because what you're going to learn here today is going to be very useful in your professions, okay? And many of you mentioned that you want to impact lives, and I think what we're going to discuss today is going to be very beneficial to you. So with that said, today's topic, we're going to be discussing using active listening techniques and skills to enhance rapport building, okay? And let's take a look at our learning outcomes, and you also have them in the handout, and it's visible on the screen as well. Okay, our learning outcomes. After completion of today's lesson, you will be able to define what is active listening, also analyze 4 imperative techniques of active listening. Secondly, you will be able to recognize and synthesize what was discussed regarding common barriers that may inhibit active listening. Finally, you'll be able to identify and evaluate 4 effective active listening skills discussed to enhance healthy rapport building. Okay. Before we go any further, I want to say that active listening is very vital. It's a fundamental skill that everyone should have, okay? Oftentimes, the power of active listening can be underestimated in its ability to change lives. Our world is on speed mode, and this makes active listening very difficult, okay? Do you know that research suggests that we only remember 25% to 50% of what we hear? I would like for us to take a look at a video on listening, but poor active listening, okay?
Stephen Hawking.
Penny started taking a class. She wrote a paper. She didn't want me to read it. I went behind her back. I read it anyway.
Stephen Hawking hates me.
I don't know what to do. The paper's terrible. But if I tell her, she'll know that I read it, and she'll get really mad.
I was beating him so bad he doesn't want to be friends anymore. Why does everyone love me except Stephen Hawking?
Is it possible we're having 2 different conversations?
How would I know? I'm not listening to you.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Chess clock. We each get 5 minutes to talk about our problems. We'll take turns. Each turn will consist of a statement and a helpful response from the friend. Begin.
I humiliated Stephen Hawking in a game of words with friends. He stopped playing, and now we're not friends anymore.
He's probably busy. Don't worry about nothing. Give it a couple more days, I'm sure he'll play, and you'll see that everything's fine. My turn. I can't let Penny hand in a bad paper, but how do I tell her it's bad without letting her know that I read it?
Beats me. Now, I know Hawking's not busy because I can see he's playing other people right now.
Maybe since you're so good, he's taking his time to meet the challenge. I want Penny to enjoy it.
Wallace told me he's a big baby. Yeah, I didn't know that. And I played extract for 82 points. So it's all Amy's fault. She told me to play it. I've got to cut her loose.
Sheldon, I wasn't done talking. She hands in the paper tomorrow. I know I could help her. She's my girlfriend. I should be allowed to help her. Why aren't I allowed to help her?
I hear you, brother.
You need to give me some advice.
Fine. Women, huh?
Specific to my situation.
But blonde women, huh?
Empathetic.
It sucks to be you. Leonard, wait. No. I listen to your dumb thing. Leonard, come back. Leonard, come back.
What?
Oh, of course. It only works on the weak-minded.
So, if you've ruled out any medical problem and your child is still wetting the bed, he may be trying to tell you something.
He's telling me I have to pee.
Okay. Based on what you've just watched, do you think that is a good demonstration of listening?
No.
No.
No, right?
You have to bring it up to a full screen before you plug it in.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Okay. So, are you hearing or listening? There is a difference. And based on that video we just saw, we can clearly tell that Sheldon was what? Hearing, right? But he was not listening. Okay, he was so self-absorbed in his own issues, what was going on in his life, that he was basically not listening to anything that his friend was trying to convey to him. So, that brings us to the question, what is active listening? What is active listening? Just think about it. Can I get any of your views, ideas on what you think active listening is?
Paying attention.
Paying attention, being able to actually understand what the person is trying to convey to you and convey that you understand the message back to them.
Okay. Maybe trying to put yourself in their shoes where you actually feel what they are going through for a split second.
Okay, that's a form of empathy as well. Okay, well, let's take a look at the definition of active listening, okay? Active listening is a method of listening and responding to another person, which improves mutual understanding. It is an essential aspect of effective communication between one or more people and involves a very human process. And keep in mind, when we talk about involving a very human process, we're talking about involving a human being, okay? Someone making a conscious effort to hear and understand what the speaker is trying to convey, okay? Question, do you think that listening affects a person's well-being? Do you think that listening can affect a person's well-being? Yes. Okay. Well, Paul said yes. I agree with Paul, okay? Listening can make you feel valued. It can make you feel important. okay? And all of those are good attributes. All of those are things that can make you feel happy, okay? On the other side, as we saw indicated in the video, when you don't listen to someone, you can feel unheard. You can feel less important, you know? You can feel hurt, okay? So, you can feel sad. So, question. Can you imagine being in a conversation and you're talking with someone and you're just pouring your heart out and you're just, you know, you're talking and this is something that matters to you. But all of a sudden, the person that you're talking to changes the topic, okay? They change the topic on you. Or they pretend as though they're listening when you know that they're not listening, okay? How do you think that would make you feel? Very hurt? Yeah. I can imagine that there would be some resentment that starts to kick in, huh? Yeah. Okay, so we could say that listening maybe requires preparation. Do you think Sheldon was prepared to listen to his friend? No, right? No. Okay, so listening requires preparation. Listening requires, or actively listening requires you preparing yourself, avoiding all distractions, and fully dedicating yourself to the speaker and what the speaker is trying to convey to you, right? Okay, let's take a look at 4 techniques of active listening. Okay, and keep in mind that the techniques that I am going to talk about, they are designed to bring a closer and deeper understanding to active listening, okay, to receiving the message. So we have clarifying. These are 4 techniques of active listening. We have clarifying. Who can read clarifying for me? Anybody want to read that?
Sure. Clarifying. This involves asking for more information and requesting the speaker to elaborate.
Okay, yes, and when you use this technique, you want to make sure to use open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions. Okay, and closed-ended questions result in yes or no. So if you use closed-ended questions, you won't be able to get the speaker to elaborate any further. You will just shut the conversation down. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind. Clarifying phrases may begin like this: I am not sure I quite understand, or do you mean that? So that enables the speaker to start elaborating and start explaining further, you know? Okay, paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is best understood as repeating another's message in your own words to confirm that message sent was received. This act ensures everyone is on the same page. So you want to paraphrase what the other person is saying without necessarily agreeing or disagreeing, okay? Paraphrasing phrases usually begin with, so, if I heard you correctly, you were asking if, or, as I understand it, you want to know if, am I correct? Let's take a look at reflection. Okay, this is moving. Okay, so reflecting. Reflection or reflecting goes a bit deeper. It leads to some sort of clarifying. The term restatement is usually utilized in reflection. Restatement is paraphrasing the speaker's words back to them as a question. Okay, reflecting involves also the listener to reflect upon the speaker's experiences and emotional responses. The difference, however, between paraphrasing and reflecting is that you're going beyond just paraphrasing the speaker's words. You're getting a little bit deeper. You're now dangling into the speaker's emotional senses and their attitudes towards whatever is going on with them, okay? So, for example, speaker, I have a little script here, just 3 lines. Speaker, I just don't understand my wife. 1 minute she says one thing, and the next minute she does the opposite. So the listener then says, it sounds like you are feeling very confused by your wife. Okay? So the listener is paraphrasing as well as reflecting what the speaker just said. Okay? Summarizing. Okay, summarizing is basically the act of reviewing and recapping major points of the discussion. Summarizing can help the speaker as well as the listener to recognize the theme in which that speaker is trying to convey. Let's take a look at some barriers that may hinder active listening. Okay, some common barriers that may hinder active listening. Lack of patience. How many of you can identify with lack of patience? Lack of patience. Okay. How many of you have been in a conversation where someone was just talking and you're like, are you ever gonna, are you gonna shut up?
I think we've all met Tara.
Yeah. Okay, well, lack of patience. I'm sorry, Sarah. But when you're not patient, you find yourself becoming annoyed by everything the speaker says or does. Okay? This is a barrier because if you're not patient with people, you can shut them down. Okay? And you won't be able to understand the message. You will miss out on some very important points if you're not patient when someone is trying to convey something to you. Okay? So you want to be mindful of that. Let's take a look at inappropriate environment, noisy environments. A noisy environment can be an obvious distraction and can be very difficult to hear the speaker's words, let alone trying to absorb what the speaker is trying to convey to you. So, noisy environment creates distraction. So, if you're going to actively listen to someone, you would want to be mindful of the environment. Probably pick a quiet place, less distractions, less noise, no music, no cell phones, things like that. Okay? Lack of reflection. Lack of reflection. When you fail to reflect and evaluate on what is being said, rather than who is saying it, it creates barriers. You must listen to the words coming out of the person's mouth and try to understand what the speaker is saying. This involves concentration, and concentration, we'll get into that as we move along, because that's a very important skill when it comes to active listening. So you must be able to concentrate on what the speaker is saying, even if it bores you, okay? If your thoughts start to wander, you have to find a way to refocus. You want to find a way to remain in the present, okay? Finally, overthinking. Overthinking, how many of us can identify with overthinking? We just overthink situations, you know? Yeah, we just let our thoughts run away with us, right? So overthinking is yet another barrier that can hinder effective active listening. Okay, so you want to just stop thinking and listen. Okay? Because you're tuned into what's going, some people, they overthink because they're tuned into what's going on, you know, what you're gonna have for dinner, or what dress you're gonna wear, or you're overthinking what you're gonna say as soon as the speaker like shuts up, you know? And that could be a form you're probably thinking that what you have to say is more important than what the speaker is saying, okay? So that, that can definitely hinder someone continuing to confide in you, okay? Okay, now let's take a look at, we talked about some of the barriers, we talked about some of the techniques. Let's look at some effective skills of active listening. Concentration. Focus your attention on the speaker only by blocking out distractions, and I think we touched on this. Okay, we want to block out distractions such as noise, lights, things going on around you. Avoid becoming distracted by physical characteristics of the speaker, such as their dress, their accent, presentation style, mannerisms. You want to avoid doing things like that, okay? And you want to concentrate fully on what the speaker is saying, okay? Next we have non-judgmental. We don't want to be judgmental, so perfecting this skill is very important, okay? You want to examine your motives. Are you open to new ideas and information? It can be very instructive to weigh what is being discussed against any personal value and belief system. Check your judgments at the door, okay? Once you become judgmental, you've already compromised the effectiveness of active listening, okay? And we want to take a look at showing interest. Active listeners show interest and attention, both verbally and nonverbal. Some nonverbal cues would be smiling, their posture, nodding head occasionally, eye contact, things like that. All of those eye contact, they show the speaker that you're listening, and it creates like a connection, you know? Some verbal cues and vocal participation would be, that's right, oh, okay, yeah. So all of those nonverbal and verbal cues show the speaker that you are paying attention, that you're actually interested in what they're saying. Finally, we want to exercise emotional control. Exercising emotional control. We want to address highly charged messages in a thoughtful manner. We want to wait until the entire message is received before reacting. And we do not want to interrupt. Can you repeat that with me? Do not interrupt. Do not interrupt, okay? You cannot interrupt the speaker. Interrupting the speaker can be a way of telling the speaker that what they're saying is not important. I think we talked about that over and over, interrupting, distractions, things like that. It can make the speaker feel disrespected. Okay, so we want to avoid interrupting the speaker, and remember, when you do respond, to respond appropriately. You want to be respectful, you want to be open, and you want to be honest, okay? So all of these skills can be acquired and developed with practice, okay? And they all can help build and enhance rapport in conversating and listening with someone. Okay, now we're going to take part in a role play. Yay! Okay, we have an activity. Okay, so we're going to get together in groups. I think Natasha has to leave in 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to do? Okay, so we're going to get together in 2 groups. Okay, choose who will be the speaker, the listener, for the group, and then the second group, you're going to observe, okay? When you're done observing, the next group, the other group will then be the observers, and you will get to read your scripts. You have the scripts in front of you, I've provided them. So just take a minute to just peruse through the script, and then once you've decided who's going to be the listener or the speaker, we can begin. Ready? Yes. Okay, so I'm the speaker. You're the bad? Okay, okay, good. Okay.
We're good?
Yeah.
I'm really furious right now. I told my landlord to fix the slippery stairway, but he never did. And today, it was raining, and I almost slipped and hurt myself. My back aches from the sudden jerk, and I'm worried someone's going to get badly injured someday for his negligence. This is very frustrating to me. I can't take this.
Why are you being such a downer? I'm sure he'll get, to whatever it is when he has the time. I'm sure it's not as serious as you're trying to make this out to be.
But you're not understanding, so you can't say that. I've asked him numerous times because the stairway really gets slippery when it rains, and it becomes extremely dangerous.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not that big a deal. How about we go grab a bite to eat? Maybe I'll help you clear your head a bit.
Okay. Now that was a demonstration of bad active listening, okay? And now we're gonna have another demonstration on how we think this should have gone, okay?
I'm really furious right now. I told my landlord to fix the slippery stairway, but he never did. And today it was raining and I almost slipped and hurt myself. My back aches from the sudden jerk, and I'm worried someone's going to get badly injured someday for his negligence. This is very frustrating to me. I can't take this.
Oh my God. If I heard you correctly, it sounds like you're really worried that you might hurt yourself or someone else might get hurt. Is that right?
Yeah. That is right. I mean, I've asked him numerous times because the stairway gets really, really slippery when it rains and it becomes extremely dangerous.
Of course. Oh my goodness. Oh my. What I understand, it sounds like it's really important to you that your landlord cares for the health and safety of his tenants and responds to their concerns in a timely manner, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm so glad you understand me. I feel a lot better now.
Okay. Good, thank you. Okay, can we just quickly get into groups, as we are already in groups, just discuss it and we'll quickly share our observations.
Great. Yes.
Okay, if you're ready, you can begin.
Oh, great. For my was bad listening group, the listener basically didn't use any of the 4 components of active listening, nor were verbal and nonverbal cues used effectively when he was trying to listen to my complaints.
Yeah, I wasn't really concentrating, which was pretty evident by obvious distractions. It showed my lack of interest in what she was trying to get across to me. I mean, it was just very disrespectful. Just kind of clueless, basically, as to why she was even mad.
Okay, do you think that would have made her feel any better?
No, she was pretty stunned at the end of it all.
Yeah, okay. You think you were being kind of judgmental in there as well?
Yeah, a little bit. And I was like, well, what's the big deal? You're just overreacting, basically.
What do you think, observing them?
I think he was hungry.
Think he was hungry?
And that was more important. It was evidently more important to him, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What she had to say.
Yeah.
He was a bit impatient, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't have any patience while he was trying to listen.
What do you think about, what did you observe with Tanaja, those demonstration on the right way to do a good active listening?
Oh yes, that's right. So Katrina did a really excellent job demonstrating the techniques of active listening. She clarified what Tanaja was saying. She paraphrased it for her. She also actually, had really great verbal and nonverbal cues. She looked her in the face.
Yeah.
She kept nodding her head and, affirming,
Affirming, right.
comments after.
Yeah, and she was also reflecting the listener's own words back to her in her own way, just to acknowledge that she understood what she was talking about.
Okay, so based on, let's go with Tanaja, those groups where they demonstrated the good active listening skills. Would you concur with me that there are some benefits of active listening?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that it increases trust and credibility, rapport and cooperation
For sure.
between the listener and the speaker?
Yes.
Do you think it makes others feel appreciated and valued?
Yes.
What about, do you think it saves time by reducing mistakes and misunderstandings?
Yes.
Allows
Yes,
us to receive accurate messages?
Definitely.
Okay, good. So now what I want you to do, I want you to disengage from your groups, and I just want you to reflect for a minute and think about what we said the definition of active listening is, okay? And I want you to think about a time that you may have not been such a good active listener. Think about those barriers that we discussed, and then think about how you can reverse that, and incorporate some of the good techniques that we discussed and some of the good skills that we discussed in regards to active listening and being an effective listener. You want to think about that for a minute? Sure. And then we'll just share it.
For a moment?
Sure, yes. So we'll quickly discuss that. Yeah.
Well, I have a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine was complaining, how he had so many things going on, and he, didn't get to pack lunch, and, he had to go to work, and he was kind of going on about all these things that he needed to get done that he didn't, accomplish before work started. And I was being judgmental because I thought, well, it's just called poor planning. If you had just done this the night before, like semi-packed your bag and got your keys on the side, then you would have been just fine. So because of that, I actually didn't take the time to really empathize with him.
Yeah.
And then I was being quite judgmental as well. It's like, it's not a big deal because you caused this on yourself. Had you planned a bit better, then you wouldn't have been stressed out and so forth. But at that time, I guess.
It's even more stressing.
Exactly, and he didn't need to hear that at that point.
No.
He needed me to be, to listen,
Yeah.
to be patient with him, and to be non-judgmental. And, to help him, and maybe I could have suggested these as some ideas for next time.